Hey everybody, welcome back. We just lost an incredibly cursed run in Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus Booster Pack Edition. No time like the present, dude, to check out this room. Let's see. Will we live? We're gonna live. Are we gonna super live? We're not gonna super live. Let's check out this seed. Yedwid, Jisfib. Our stats are like all slightly below average, except for our rate of fire, which is exactly average, at least if we consider Isaac to be average, which seems like an okay baseline, even though, that character's real good. This is, and don't shoot the messenger on this one, okay? This is a trash start, but that doesn't mean it's a trash run. We got fuel for the future, we got HP. We got not terrible stats in any one domain. I think I would rather be slightly below average in just about every category than have like 0.8 speed or something like that. Wait, we have 0.87 speed. Maybe don't get too excited. Okay. That's fine, dude. It's fine. We got Bobby's Rotten Head. It actually was very impressive that we managed to miss on that one. Almost any shot would have hit contact with an enemy. Instead, I said, no, no, no. I want to get as many enemies as possible. And perfectly threaded the needle, missing every single foe, blowing up a rock that had no value associated with it whatsoever. Still, again, there's reason to be positive. This one dude is circumventing the rules, trying to get around us here. Please, God, some kind of DPS improvement. I think I'd rather keep Bob's Rotten Head than Kidney Bean. We're in like a clump stretch of not particularly good luck, in my opinion. We've had some great runs, but they're taking usually like a little while to get there, We've had a lot of, and maybe this is just the salt talking. I feel like we've had a lot of situations that are like our first 4 item rooms are all spacebar items. That tends to lend itself very poorly to situations in which you'd like to win, but I digress. I fully believe we could have won the last run if we just, well, played a little better. See, now we're doing it. Don't get too attached to, like, the perfect use of Bob's Rotten Head. Just get the job done. And, of course, well, you know what? I was going to say it would have been better to use it there. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have, because we probably would have hit ourselves in the process there. How is it possible? Dude, I've never respected gurglings more than I do in this exact moment. They're able to eject the turds from their body at such an alarming range. Okay, we're gonna be fine, or at least we're gonna live, but what on earth? My God. Have I regressed in Isaac's skill overnight, or is, like... Oh, Lord. Don't answer that question, by the way. Hey, a speed upgrade is not terrible. We're getting the heck out of town. Well, our hopes and dreams are pinned in extremely closely to whatever our deal with the devil ends up being here, if we even end up getting a deal with the devil. You might think I'm disappointed about the speed upgrade. I'm actually not. It's one of my favorite upgrades to get early on a run is, a speed upgrade, something to make sure. It's basically like getting infamy, if you want to be overly reductive, which I always do. Deadshot is so good too. Deadeye, I should say. Or as I call it, cable. This is one of the ones where I'm confused. I have a real question for you, because it's going to lead into this anecdote here, okay? Why are there so many superheroes that I think I'm just going to be okay with this situation? And I'm going to try this even though it's potentially deleterious. Why are there so many superheroes that are like Marvel has blank, DC, oh you idiot, DC has like slightly different blank, like aren't Cable and Deadshot very, very similar? Are they the same they might both be Marvel for all I know. I'm trying to think of other examples. You know what I mean, right? Like, there's superheroes where it's like, hey, this is the really, really strong guy in Marvel. This is the really, really strong guy in DC. Is there like an unfettered period of just like nobody respecting copyright whatsoever? Is that what happened? Where it was like, well, it's 1965 and Superman's really popular, so here's a cool guy. He's got a big C on his chest, and he's got even hotter heat vision, and he can fly even faster. This bit's going nowhere. You know what is going somewhere, though, is this run. Go ahead, make my day. This run has changed a lot in like 6 rooms. Or as DJ Khaled would say, this run has changed a lot in the past 6 rooms or so. We got IV bag now. More exists for us as an opportunity to get some money and hopefully leverage that for advantages on the shop. This is actually great. Wow, never mind, it's actually horrible. Because I am a fool and should have just attacked him the old-fashioned way. Rate of fire up is great. We don't need to take a deal with the devil. We cannot take a deal with the devil. Subtle but important difference. Ooh, now we can take a deal with the devil, but probably shouldn't nonetheless. Get the heck out of town. This run to me now looks like a victory. No thank you. You're telling me there's not like a Marvel Aquaman? Who's like, you know, Nautilus Woman or something like that? Here, to supplement this bit, I gotta do some research. Similar Marvel and DC characters. What a great... 10 awkwardly similar Marvel and DC characters. Sure. Why not? Let's take a look here. Oh my god, it's taken so long to load. Green Arrow and Hawkeye. That's a great example. Thank you so much. They both shoot arrows. We'd like to send you breaking news notifications. How about I hit the back button and never visit your trash website ever again? Alright, let's try this one. Give it a second. Black Cat versus Catwoman. That's a great example. Ant-Man versus Atom. Both very small dudes. And by the way, if you come out of this and you say, well, Atom was hit by a burst of gamma radiation, whereas Ant-Man uses a Pym particle, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Tigra versus Cheetah. Dude, come on, that's the same creature. Hawkeye versus Green Arrow. Magneto versus Dr. Polaris. I'm gonna level with you, I got no idea who Dr. Polaris is, so I'm not too worried about that one. Namor versus Aquaman. Quicksilver versus the Flash. Oh my god, you're right. Quicksilver's just the Flash. Deadpool versus Deathstroke. Iron Man versus Batman. Okay, I'm not gonna give you Iron Man versus Batman. I understand they're both rich dudes, but there's some differences. Thor versus Superman. Now it's clickbait. You clickbaited me. Black Widow versus Black Canary. Seems plausible. Norman Osborn versus the Joker. I'm hitting X. Okay, because number 1 there was Avengers versus Justice League, which is just that... Again, you have just said like 13 awkwardly similar ones? Is 16 some kind of magic SEO number? I can't believe I got clickbaited live on video. Some of those were legit though. Tigra versus Cheetah? Come on, dude. No matter which one you're a fan of, you got to admit, that's a striking similarity. They're both a woman who is also a jungle cat? It just seems a little convenient, is all I'm saying. Oh, for lore reasons, she has to be a Tigra because she came from the planet Tigris. Okay, yeah, sure. Whatever you say. Yeah, I get you. No, yeah, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Totally. It's not like they made it up, obviously. They're just reporting space lore. Leech is mildly synergistic here. You know? It will heal us. We will use said healing. Hey, actually you can live with that. We can use said healing with IV bag. With IV bag, pick up a little bit more money. You know what I guess it comes down to with the superheroes thing is that in the end, you know, human beings were a cluster of attributes. And the superhero formula is pretty simple. You know, most people, it comes down to they have special attributes in one or more categories. You know, even Hawkeye, he's got like enhanced dexterity basically. So at some point, you know, I imagine you're in the Marvel writers room and you're like, dude, we need a new superhero, but we already have a really fast guy, a really big guy, a really strong guy, a really small guy, a really rich guy, a really smart guy. Like, at some point, you just gotta... Ooh, it's actually great, but not necessarily great yet, but in the future could be incredible. So it becomes hard. You look over, you're peering at your friend's paper. Ooh, guy who can shoot lightning bolts out of his hands. All right, all of a sudden... Electro's born. I get it. I understand. It's convenient. You know where you get into weird situations is when, you know, something's obviously a direct copy of something else, but it's also better than the original. That's where... I don't necessarily want to get into this, because for whatever reason, it's a contentious issue for things I don't understand, but... That's how I feel about PUBG and Fortnite. And I'm like, you know, Fortnite did copy PUBG. I understand that it's not the first, or PUBG was not the first battle royale to come to market, but it did take it into the mainstream, and then it's very convenient that, like, you know, 6 months after PUBG existing and, you know, 3 months after Fortnite Save the World Edition, the PvE kind of came out like a wet fart. All of a sudden, Fortnite Battle Royale came out. And for a while, I was very cynical about this, and then I played more Fortnite, and I was like, this is just better. Godhead, let's go! And if you like PUBG more, that's also fine. You know, I no love lost for Bluehole as a company. I can completely understand being a fan of PUBG for the slightly more real, well, not even slightly, for the substantially more realistic gunplay, larger map, vehicle, etc., etc. Nobody doing a dab on you after they kill you. More methodical gameplay, real sniping, so on and so forth. But that's how I feel about the issue. I'm too old to be, like, getting in arguments online about these sorts of video games, you know? I've aged into that category where I've got to be, like, the guy arguing for, like, themes and motifs in video games. I can't be like, well, the PlayStation doesn't have Splinter Cell, so obviously if you're gonna spend your money, you should spend it on the Xbox. It's got the... That's my favorite, like, fanboy argument online, is when they just echo, like, corporate speak from, like, an E3 presentation. You'd have to be some kind of idiot to buy the PS4 right now when the Xbox One X has the Hovis method with a revolutionary new style of post-processor OpenGL vector rendering. It's like Sony doesn't even care. So, I hate to do it. It really does crush me, but you gotta reroll the whole run. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, dude. That's what you do with the sword. We've lost Godhead. The run still seems actually good. What was that terrible sound? It was like trying to do a remix. What is going on with their shots, too? Like, I know it's fruitcake, but, like, it's fruitcake and it's extra weird, it feels like. But I guess maybe it's just fruitcake to begin with. Man, when was the last time I ate fruitcake? We call it Christmas cake up here. Most of the time. Well, I should say on the East Coast, at least, they call it Christmas cake. Because, you know, you only eat it at Christmas. Because if you ate it year-round, people would be like, are you alright? It's gotta be at least 15 years since I've had a slice of fruitcake. I understand if you take this out of context, it could sound funny, but I'm refusing to acknowledge it because I think that's a very lazy joke. Catacombs 2. We might be on pace for boss rush. Could use a speed upgrade here. Feels like a secret room. We have golden bombs, so let's use them. Definitely crack into this guy as well. So we sacrificed our guaranteed win. You know why we did it? Because I have a completely irrational belief that if you sacrifice a guaranteed win, the game will reward you with more than one guaranteed win in the future. Now, obviously, that's just stupid. That's actually, like, idiotic. But it's what I believe, so you can't make fun of it. And no, this is not an allegory. And I'm not channeling Ricky Gervais. And I'm not going to do my Ricky Gervais impression because I'm self-conscious about it. The first couple times off the cuff, it was really good. And then, more recently, it's come across like a bad Austin Powers. Do I offend you, baby? Do I make you question the existence of a man in the sky? Yeah! That's Ricky Gervais as Austin Powers, trying to poke fun of the fact that you believe in the Christian God. Man, that's a terrible bit. I love it. That's extremely great. Okie dokie. 13 minutes. Roughly, at this point, I would say, you know, about an average quality run. With some above average potentially. Like, some of these shots, when they hit, they're doing a number on the enemy, dude. And that's the thing with Fruitcake, is that, you know, sometimes you end up with an amazing shot. Sometimes your shot comes out diagonally, misses. Sometimes it's, you know, there you go. It's a good example. It's Explosivo and it just kills. What do you got for me? Please. Oh, our speed is not high enough to feel 100% confident that we're getting away from that. I feel like with both of our with both of my last two runs, I've been like of the opinion that at some point it's gonna get better, and it has gotten better, but we're still waiting on the Wombo. Like, I don't feel... I think, honestly, the Wombo for us here, and it's no longer the Wombo combo because it's only one item, but I think we just picked up, like, 0.4 speed total. We would look at this and be like, you know what? We're Womboed. Fully Womboed up, dude. We'd be fast enough to get away. Easy to dodge. I mean, we wouldn't be easy to dodge. It would be easy for us to dodge shots. For right now, like... the speed, it just feels like I'm going through like a vat of molasses. Which is a feeling I'm very familiar with. I always thought that was weird when people said, like, you know, slower than molasses in January. I'm like, I don't even know. Was this expression made in like the 1700s? I'm just being straight up with you. I don't even know what molasses is. And I'll be the person who admits that. Do you know what molasses is? There was a time where I thought molasses was something you mined. Like, you go down into the molasses mines and you pull out some molasses. Now I understand it's some kind of like... is it a cooked yeast? Hold up. What is molasses? Molasses is a thick syrup obtained from raw sugar during the refining process, a version of which is used in baking. See, why is that common knowledge? To know what molasses is. I don't know the byproducts of, like, fracking. Why do I know that molasses comes from a sugar refining process? Like, I don't work on a sugar plantation in the Caribbean. Everyone expects you to know what molasses is here. It's like the -- skill testing question you always get. What's molasses? Oh, I don't know. Sorry, sir, you can't be on Jeopardy. Even though you know, Kingston's the capital of Jamaica. Was that a shop? I don't think it was a shop. Maybe it was a shop. Anyway. Start by taking out Brownie here. I actually think we should pop Algiz right away. This guy is mad annoying. I don't know how much HP we have. I assume it's enough, but I've been wrong before. What a terrible item for us. Okay, we'll head down to the next floor. Curse my sudden but inevitable betrayal of myself by re-rolling the entire run. Again, I do believe you live by the sword, you die by the sword, okay? So, there have been times where, The reroll room has saved me. Ugh. And I have to, like, my statistical brain is like, there's no way that reroll rooms only show up in situations, or are more likely to show up in situations where you're already set. The only thing that could plausibly explain that is because by the time a reroll room is liable to show up, you tend to be set on any Isaac run, so it's not really fair to say that. What you should really be looking at is the proportion of times that a reroll room makes you run better versus the times that it makes it worse. I think most of the time it makes it better. Just for the raw chance of getting transformations, you know, you could reroll an amazing item into a terrible item, admittedly, and that's, I mean, pretty much what's happening right here, but can't really hold that against the room, so to speak. I beg you, sir. You're a rascal. I need your strongest speed upgrade. I am headed into battle. You can't handle my strongest speed upgrade. My strongest speed upgrade is meant for a cobalt streak. It would kill you. Please. Take some terrible speed stats to feel like you're slow even when you can fly. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's the rest of the story. Please take me to a special room. Like an arcade. Where I might be able to leverage my existing resources for some kind of advantage. Because as of right now, we're coming dangerously close to losing our deal with the devil and or angel odds. I would very much like to not have that come to pass. Because I kind of need, like, everything right now. I could even use rate of fire and damage. Like, most of our damage is coming through our ancillary tier effects right now. Yeah, I used ancillary in the YouTube video. Be the change you want to see in the world, gosh darn it. Yes. Sure.
Of spades.
Why not for now? And then we'll re-roll everything. And then my next thought is, okay, didn't work too well. But so be it, right? We don't really want Trinket Smelter or Pandora's Box. Really, for 5 cents, we're getting a 50% chance to buy whatever they got. So I'm kind of... You should have bought the Spirit Heart, my dude. Sure. I think we did things in the right order that time. Please give me Blood Bag. I would be ever so grateful. 48-hour energy. Full health. Let's pop full health first. Pop strength as well. 48-hour energy just seems better in a different context. I'm going for broke, by the way. Get ready. Well, it's ironic when going for broke leaves you fabulously wealthy. Although I'm not sure if there's anything we could really do with this money right now, apart from die rich. Like a Republican congressman. Okay, that's nothing. Nothing interesting, at least. Please. I beg of you. Oh, there's another blood bank over here. That wasn't a fair joke. Most congressmen are gonna die rich, regardless of their political affiliation. I might make divisive jokes on occasion. The compromise that we make with one another is that I'm gonna try to be fair about them. Mostly. Now, you're gonna drop 1,000 battery charges. You're gonna drop no battery charges. I think we should shoot for the moon on this one. Alright. Like I said, 50% chance. 50% chance we're gonna double these. Working out so well right now. I shouldn't be bitter because this run actually like feels like it has an okay chance at success. Oh, parasitoid tears for certain. It's just like Godhead was like getting a job offer at Google or something like that. And then the reroll room was like on Monday morning, they were like, hey, We read that tweet where you said the F word and you're not invited to work with us anymore. That doesn't represent Alphabet Corporation's values. And you're like, oh man, now I gotta go work for Facebook. No. Okay, well, let's go. Shouldn't be shooting that close because we do have fire mine shots. Could blow up in our own face. Ooh. It's like Serpent's Kiss. This is not going as quickly as I would have thought. But you know what I love? We got like a 40% chance of a deal with the Angel. And like a 20-something% chance of a deal with the Devil. So we got a real good stab at greatness right now. We got neither! That's a slap in the face. Well, we'll have a 100% chance of getting either a deal with the Devil or Angel. But it's an XL floor. That's a bummer. So instead of having a chance to get two, we're just going to have one that for now is guaranteed, but that could change. Still, this run does have the keys necessary to reach greatness and success. It's a little spotty, but you know, the spotty runs are the most fun runs sometimes, the runs you have to work for. It's not necessarily fun to just be handed the victory. So what we did is we handed the victory back, and we said, take your victory, and shove it. I'm going to work for Facebook. Which, as I understand it, is actually like a sick job. I understand as consumers, you know, Facebook is the devil. It's the devil. Neither of those are worth it, so I don't want to hear any guff, okay? Oh, you could have had nearsighted friend if you weren't so greedy. Incredible. Wow, I could have had nothing at all if I weren't so greedy as to try to double nothing. It's usually double or nothing, not just double nothing. Could you just, like, not be protected in this state? Like, I get it, it's a whole Mega Man thing where you gotta wait for the turret to pop up before you can shoot it, but at the same time, if you just, like, be a cool bro about it, that'd be even better. Fantastic. It's Butterbean. Here's a real question for you that actually has implications. Can we get a second item room, or is it just one item room per floor? If it's one item room per floor, man, did we make a terrible decision in taking Bloody Crown with us. If we can get two because it's an XL floor, there's still a chance. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that not only did Bloody Crown not pay out with, you know, as much as we would like, but beyond that, literally, Omega Penny has never given us a single payout. It has always given us pennies instead of doubling the items. But I digress. That's not really the issue at hand, I suppose. We're going to become very tiny. We're going to become so small. So small, we're going to disappear. Slip into the quantum realm. It's a big floor. That's what you got to expect when you get here. This feels like an old Isaac run. This is like one of those Isaac runs where, you know, it's back in the day where we thought the average length of an Isaac run was 45 minutes because it was. It's like a pre-rebirth Isaac run. It's got a real classic feel to it. Unfortunately. It's not that Flash Isaac is bad. Flash Isaac was incredible for its time. I got like 700 hours in that. Actually, I probably got more than 700 hours in that game. It's a great game. But it has not aged well. It might be the last game made in Flash I ever played, to be honest with you. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, if we had played another game in Flash, we probably played it because we heard good things. And if we heard good things, it probably disguised the fact that it was made in Flash, so... Was Super Hexagon made in Flash? I can't remember. I know Terry Kavanaugh, he loves his Flash games. VVVVVV, or VVVVV, I should say. Baby. Came out before The Binding... We got 2 item rooms, let's go. Came out before The Binding of Isaac. That was probably made in Flash. Although I cannot recall. I mean, you can make fun of Flash all you want, you know? I know that Flash is being deprecated. It's basically not run on many common websites anymore because of security risks. At least apparently. But when I was a kid, you know what online games were played in? Java applets. Anybody else out there 300 years old? You go to play, like, online bowling or something? We should have tried to double it maybe, but I'll take anything at this point. Online pool at candystand.com. Java applet loading. As a kid, you were like, this is where the magic happens. Now that I'm a little older and wiser, I'm like, Java applet loading? I don't even know what that means. It's when you got to invent a word for your format. The heck is an applet? Like an appellate court? So we're not going to get a deal with the devil, by the way, which is amazing and extremely cool and good. Not at all a terrible trash fire. I think I'm going to take Goat Hoof. It's not like we're going to become Guppy. We may get a deal with the devil. Like, let's not be too negative about it. Or Angel. At this point, again, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Nah. Okay. How on earth are we going to pull out the dub on this one? Well, I would think that the most likely scenario would be we actually beat the odds. Oh, I have to take it, I think. It's a range downgrade. Pretty much everything else went up. It's very strong. I would think that the way that we win the run is we actually get like a 9 lives or something like that, and then we just kind of scrounge our way to victory, because it is still not even close to a guaranteed success story. We didn't get a deal. We have 2 HP. Somehow it survived our last run, or outlived our last run. Oh my lord. Well, the only thing I can assume is that the Lord works in mysterious ways, which oftentimes make us very angry. So I'm thinking, if there's a karmic balance system in Planet Earth's recent DLC patch, well, I mean, this is a good start, as was not getting hit there for no discernible deserved reason. We should be able to use Omega Penny like crazy once we get down to the chest. And it should pay out because, again, basically I deserve it. I've been very pious. I'm ready. Dude, I had a great idea for a movie. Not a movie that would do very well, but I'm thinking it would star like Bill Hader. Seems like the right level of star for this. So it's about a Catholic priest, and I know where you think this is going. It's not like that. It's not a family-friendly film necessarily, but you know, it's like an all-ages, well, not an all-age, but like a teens and up comedy. He's a Catholic priest, so you know, he's constantly, people are confessing things to him, but then he also, behind the scenes, runs like a TMZ-style blog about his hometown. And as people are reading this stuff, they're like, how does he know this? This is crazy. And then eventually he gets sussed out. But everybody's happy with it one way or the other. He leaves and he goes to work at TMZ, and Harvey Levine as a... Harvey Levin? Whatever. Has a cameo at the end, and then everyone's happy about it, even though all of their secrets were broadcast over the entire world. Jack Black could also play the priest. Okay. No. It's a lot of spirit arts, but it's a decent chunk of spiders, too. If you want to steal that idea, please by all means. I know myself. I will not make this movie. People always very flippantly, they'll say, and I say it too. You know, people go like, I got a great idea for something, and then, you know, it's a very ambitious project. You go, you should make it, and they're like, no, I get that, it's hard. Plus, like, there's always the chance that it fails, and it might not even be that good in the first place. You know, so you should make that movie. Are you kidding? That's like 1,000 hours of writing a script for an idea I just came up with off the top of my head. If you want to write it, if you put in the time to write that script and you sell it, you own it as far as I'm concerned. I'm willing to say that on the friggin' record. That's yours. It's your baby. The idea existed in my head for a fraction of a second. I spun it out a little bit. If you put in the time, that belongs to you. Am I immune to explosions? It's like I got hit with the explosion, but I did not take damage. We gotta... Oh, I was just gonna say we have to use more bombs, but no, we actually don't, because we can't. We've only got 8 left. People do that with code all the time. Not so much to me, because I'm not a real developer. Not to have, like, imposter syndrome, but, you know, people are like, ah, he's still in school, let him be. But you hear it all the time. The only time it happens to me is when on the show, people are like, I got a great idea for a game. I wrote up 100 pages of design documents. You should make it for me, and we'll split it 50-50. And I'm like, I don't really... See, because the thing is, it might be an okay division of labor. I'm not ignoring the design side of things, but it's your baby. If it was our baby, that's fair. But if it's your baby, I'm sorry, but I gotta Rick Harrison you. Rick Harrison? Who's the Pawn Stars guy? You know, Rick. The one they call Rick from the Pawn Stars show? You're gonna have to pay out the nose. Just the way it goes. Meanwhile, I got 12 Stack Overflow tabs open in the other window. How do you select an element in jQuery? It's a joke. You use the $sign. Okay. Everybody knows that, you imposter. Now. All I'm saying is ideas are cheap. Execution's worth a lot, and not just in a circle jerky like, oh, I know how to code sort of way. But like for movies, it's the same thing. Sometimes people, I think like, I grew up in a small town, sort of. People didn't really have any idea of how like Hollywood works. I don't have any idea how Hollywood works. But I have been to LA a couple of times. And let me tell you, it teaches you a lot. People like, I had a great idea for a movie. Here's the premise. You think I could sell it? No! Your premise was fantastic. Frig. But no, you can't. You can't just walk into, you know, Warner Brothers lot and be like, I want to speak to Chris Nolan. It's The Killing Joke, but live action. Oh, here's $1 million. You know? You got to at least write a book first and then sell the rights to the script or something like that. Write it on spec, you know, if you got time, then by all means. You can't just sell an idea. Like, I have an idea. There's no selling it, because the implementation is hard. I really, and I may have said this before, I think this is like the future of cars in between self-driving cars and us still driving. Smart glass windshields that display heads-up information that you should have. Like, for example, I'm getting to this, I drive fairly infrequently, but sometimes we go on long trips, okay? Here's what bothers me. You know, we get down to Seattle. The rules in Seattle are sometimes different. You know, bus lanes are literally bus only. Instead of, like, in Vancouver, it's like yield to buses. And, you know, in some hours, there's buses that are, or there's bus only lanes. And then You know, I'm sure it happens the other way when people come to Vancouver as well. They'll be like, you know, oh, this street is no turn left between 11 or 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. or something like that. So I feel like a heads-up display smart glass windshield that shows you relevant information like, hey, speed limit just changed from 60 to 40. Hey, you're in the bus lane, etc., etc. That kind of stuff seems relatively technologically plausible. Not quite as difficult as making a car that drives itself, although, I mean, I imagine there's an incredible amount of complexity that goes into making it in the first place. I'm aware, I've done the SWOT analysis in my head, you know? How is it, it's gonna have to have a camera that can scan all this stuff, or at least the GPS data associated with, like, where all these rules and regulations and stuff like that are denoted on the street. But we're already sort of there, right? Like, there's some complicated highway exits here, and my navigation system is like, it'll show me a computer mock-up of the exit, even if the exit's all sorts of frigged up. Like, it'll show an arrow that goes past, like, exit 11A and goes around the corner to 11B. So that's like, dude, if you work at Toyota right now, you're watching the video, make that. I'm not gonna come and sue you and use this as evidence in the future, I promise. That's why ideas are cheap. It's very easy to identify, well, maybe it's not easy, but it's relatively simple to identify a need and be like, this would be sick. Substantially harder to actually make it come to fruition, even if, you know in your head it's plausible, you know, the technology probably exists at the time that we can make it happen. You're telling me we can get any food item in this city to my door in under an hour for merely an egregious upcharge. And yet we can't get a heads-up display, you know, video game style arrows on our windshield telling us which direction to go to get somewhere. The idea seems so good, I actually think it might already exist. I imagine, like, the real problem with this is that replacing a smart glass windshield would probably be like $100,000. For now. I'm just saying, everybody's had situations like that. You know, you're doing 80 kilometers an hour. 2 minutes later, you're doing 80 kilometers an hour. All of a sudden, you look over. Speed limit's 60. And you're like, oh, man, if only. I mean, okay, I know what you're going to say. If only I pay attention to the sign. Look. You're right. But simultaneously, assuming everybody's perfect, you know? It's a little foolish. I don't drive distracted at all. It's just sometimes, you know, you're focusing on the dude in the other lane who's drifting into your lane because he's using Snapchat and you miss the speed limit sign. All of a sudden, it makes you look like the bad guy. What I'm trying to say is that it's somebody else's fault. So we... Oh, okay, sure. We are going to win this run. I think we deserve it. We made it through... well, okay, we're not necessarily guaranteed, but we're close. We made it through some very delicate situations. Played relatively well en route to conceivable victory here. Hey, spiders, any chance you've considered perhaps killing the enemy or something along those lines? Thank you. For now, thanks for watching. We're back on the horse, back in the saddle. Nah, that was a stretch. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.